Hey friends, it's Mari. I have another 12 by 12 scrapbooking process here for you today. I'm going to be using some products from a couple of Pink Fresh collections, Joyful Day and Everyday Musings. You can see that I've started off here with that 12 by 12 pattern paper for my base, and now I'm just taking a piece of white cardstock. I've sized that down a little bit to create a mat for my layout, and I just like that crisp look of that white over top of that really pretty aqua and white print. Now I'm taking another paper from one of those collections, and I have both of those collections stored together in my craft space, so they just kind of like seem to go together to me. I'm not sure which is which. But then I just cut this smaller patterns paper that really complements the other paper I'm using here. It's got a really nice small pattern on it. And I'm going to create another mat on top of the white mat. I want this one to be lifted up. I want some dimension on it though. So I took some craft foam that has the adhesive on the back from my craft room. I just cut that into strips, and now I'm going to just lay those strips randomly down on the back of that dark blue mat. And I will adhere that to the white paper just using a little bit of liquid adhesive. So I'm just taking that release paper off the back of my craft foam. I'm going to put that down, try to get even a nice even bit of dimensional surface there on the back of my paper. And you'll just see me take and cut a little chunk off of this one here just so that I can fill in that little space that's to the bottom left on the screen right now, and have a really nice solid base for the rest of my layout. So I'm just going to trim that off and stick that down in that open space there so that there's a little bit of dimension in that area as well. So, and like I said, I'm going to go ahead and use some liquid adhesive on the back of that. The adhesive I'm using is this glitter glue, and it's not actually glitter glue. It's, I'm just trying to show this up close here for you. But that's just the name of it. It is really fantastic. It dries clear, and it also is acid free. What I've been noticing when I've been going back through albums and or putting layouts into albums is sometimes if I use an adhesive that's not acid free, it dries yellow on the project. And another thing that I have noticed is on layouts where I've used gesso, but I haven't covered the gesso with, paint or spray of some type or whatever, some product, some medium, the gesso actually yellows. And that's something to really be careful of, because, it's kind of too bad when you go back. I know a lot of people create mixed media pages partly for the process because they just really love using the different mediums. But for me, I really want, I want my scrapbook pages to last. I don't want them to be yellowed and look kind of yucky after a while. So I'm just kind of working through the process of trying to find a product that's not going to do that, or to be a little bit more cognizant of covering the gesso up with the product when I put it down, so that I make sure that I'm not just putting gesso down and then not getting it all covered with a medium. So I'm going to just give this a chance to dry a little bit. Before I do that, though, the really nice thing about this liquid glue too is that it does stay, you can reposition it for a few minutes here so that it's not like instantly stuck down there, which is great. So I just took my T-square ruler here, and I'm just making sure that I have that paper pretty straight. It doesn't have to be perfect for me. This is a project that I'm doing just for myself. It's not a design team project. I'm not sending this off for a magazine or something like that. This is just for me. This is scrapbooking for my scrapbooks. And so when I'm doing that, I want it to be nice and straight, obviously, but it's not the same kind of pressure, right? If you're doing it for somebody else. So I am going to try to make sure that it's as straight as I can, but it was a little bit off. It's not the end of the world, right? So you can see there, that's still moving. That glue is still allowing me to slide things around a little bit, which is great. And so what I'm going to do here is, like I said, just give that a little bit of drying time. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I actually did a little bit of sewing with my sewing machine around that white paper fairly close to the edge of the white paper, just to give that white paper a little more detail. And still measuring, guys. And I did actually, most of this video is not sped up. I actually just left it because it didn't take me very long to do this video, or I should say it didn't take me very long to do this layout. So if I would have sped it up, what I normally speed up my videos, it probably would have only been about, I don't know, 5 minutes long or something. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to grab another pattern paper from this collection. I just love these subtle prints on these some of these pattern papers. I mean, obviously this backside, the floral side, is not as subtle, but this kind of orangey pink color, this kind of corally color is really subtle. It's perfect. I love it. It's not like it's really competing with any of the other patterns, and I really like that. So I've just sized it down slightly so that you can still see a little bit of that dark blue paper. And I'm just going to try to get this on here straight, and then I will just go ahead and work on the rest of the layout. So the photograph that I'm going to be working with today, I'm going to show that to you here fairly soon. Maybe even right away here, we'll see. I've got all my stuff just off to the left there. You can kind of see the photograph a little bit. But it is a 6x4 photo, so it's a larger photo than what I normally scrapbook. But I really love this picture. It's a picture at Bailey and Brady's wedding, and so you can see that Bailey's in the background there. That's her brother and all of her cousins, and then Brady, the goof, just kind of zipped into the photo and sat on my dad's knee. So my dad's in the front, and then the cousins behind, that's his grandchildren, and then Brady's on his knee. Now this is a cut file that's actually from Just Nick, and it's called Heart Background 8. And you can see how I'm just kind of keeping it a little bit over to the left. I'm not centering it because my idea was that I was going to make the right side pretty heavy with all of the embellishing and then the journaling. So I'm going to take that art glitter glue again. And what's really great too about this tip that you can get for this glue, this little metal tip, is that it is super, super fine. So it's really great for tiny areas. And then you can also with that tip comes the pin that goes inside of it. And it has not ever clogged on me. I really like that glue. It's excellent. So now I'm going to just get that stuck down. And I didn't worry about releasing those solid hearts in the middle of that cut file because my photograph is going to cover that up. So I just left those in there instead of getting those out. So now I've just laid that cut file on there flat, and I like that. I think that's cool. Some of the little bits and pieces that are part of this layout have hearts, and so I thought that was a perfect cut file to use here. This is some gold foil vellum that I had in my stash. It's a really old vellum from a crepe paper collection. It was a Valentine's collection a few years back. And I had some of this and I loved it, but I used it all up. And when I went to Crop and Create, I think it was last year, one of the vendors that was at Crop and Create, Sharon actually from Scrapbook Cottage, I don't know if you know her, but she's awesome. And she actually had some of this paper in all of her supplies that she had there for sale. And I bought all of it because I love it. I think it's so pretty. And I am going to be using gold accents here on my layout today. So I'm going to just take pop the photo up on some foam adhesive. This is just from my 3M double-sided adhesive roll. By the way, I just bought another great big jumbo roll of this on when it was Amazon Prime days. About, what was that, guys? About 2 weeks ago. I bought a Roomba, which was also awesome. I got a Roomba, guys, for I think it was $299. I feel like that's a really great deal. And I've been using it. We've got a little kitty that's going to be coming to live with us soon. And I bought it because in lieu of the pet hair that I'm going to be dealing with. But I'll let you know how that goes in the future. But I also did get the Big Mama roll of the 3M double-sided tape. I actually paid more for it than I ever have before. I think it was $45, maybe something like that, but that's still pretty cheap. I think the cheapest I've ever gotten it for is maybe $35, but I have been watching over the year and I haven't seen it any cheaper than I got it on Amazon Prime. So I did pick that up and it will last me probably for about 2 years. So now you can see I added that vellum behind my photo, and now I've taken one of the little journaling spots or little journaling pockets from one of those Pink Fresh collections, and I am going to use that for a little spot for my journaling card. And so I've adhered that on one side with some foam adhesive just so that it lays nice with that photo, because the photo has foam adhesive behind it. And now I'm just going to take some of the little die cut pieces and do some really, simple embellishing on my layout. So this is going to come together really quickly. This type of layout is really super easy to create. It's clean, it's simple, just using some die cuts. I love that cut file. I think it's great. I think that white really pops and it just adds a really nice detail behind the photograph. And I'm just going to use some of the other die cut pieces from the collections to add a little bit of detail here to my layout. So I'm going to take that die cut that says one of a kind, and then I'm going to use some of the little puffy alphas from one of the collections, and I'm going to put cousins underneath that. So it'll say one of a kind cousins. And other than that, I'm just going to add a few little die cuts to the layout and it will be finished. I actually didn't take any photographs of this layout at this point, and so there won't be any photos at the end of the video, but you can pop on over to Instagram and I will be posting some photos on Instagram of this layout. So if you wanted to check on some close-ups, you can check out there. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun creating this. It's been really nice having the time to be back in my craft space and do some creating. My husband and I are both off work. Neither of us are working right now. And we're just enjoying the summer. We're doing lots of home improvements. In fact, right now, as I'm doing this voiceover, he's out laying some brick, which I feel bad. I did help him earlier with some raking, but I have a chronic back problem, so I can't lift any of the bricks anyways. But that's what he's working on today. And we've just been really having a lot of fun with planting trees and doing some things with the backyard, lots of different little projects. And I've been doing some more painting inside of the house and organizing the basement and organizing craft stuff and just really enjoying our time here. It's been really nice. It's been really relaxing. The weather's been beautiful and just really can't complain at all. So as I'm finishing up here, that little die cut piece that I'm putting on there that matches the blue in the pattern paper that I've used is Happy Little Moments. And I just really love the pop of the gold and the complementary corally orange colors there, as well as the dark blue. Looks really nice. So this is all done now. You can see that I've added that little journaling card to inside of that little pocket, just journaling about this moment at the wedding. It was lots of fun. We had a great time. I can't believe it's a year ago already. It's crazy. So you can see the photo and then all of the embellishing over to the right. Thanks so much for stopping by today, guys. Have an amazing day, and I hope to see you here again another time on my channel. Bye-bye.